Netflix is ready to welcome back one of its most divisive shows with the release of Monster, the Ed Gein story, but the third entry in the horror anthology has a chance to avoid past controversies. Co-created by Ryan Murphy, Netflix's Monster series serves as a biographical anthology focusing on different monsters in American history. Monster took the world by storm when it debuted in 2022, with a season that focused on serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer, played by Evan Peters. Despite becoming one of Netflix's most-watched shows in history, it also came with scrutiny. That divisive nature returned with the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, but Season 3's Ed Gein focus will look to put an end to those same complaints. Monster Season 3's timeline avoids the show's past controversies surrounding victims. Charlie Hunnam in Monster as Ed Gein. In the case of Monster Season 1, much of the negative reception stemmed from sensationalizing a real-life killer, while putting much of the focus on Dahmer rather than the victims and those attempting to put an end to the heinous crimes. Much of the backlash also came from family members and friends of the victims, who felt re-traumatized by the story. Monster Season 3, however, has an opportunity to largely avoid falling into similar controversies since the timeline is set 70 years in the past. Charlie Hunnam is leading Monster, the Ed Gein story's cast, playing the infamous killer during the 1950s. Whereas Monster's previous installments centered on more recent crimes, the same won't be the case for Season 3. With the timeline of the Jeffrey Dahmer case mostly taking place in the 80s, many of those directly impacted by the crimes are still alive, so any retellings of the crimes would open old wounds. It's a similar scenario for those connected to Eric and Lyle Menendez, and the media circus their inner circle were forced to endure after the brothers killed their parents. There are certainly still people out there who will be affected by Ed Gein coming back into the spotlight and turned off by the sensationalism of another killer. However, being much further removed from the actual crimes means Monster Season 3 is at a lower risk of unearthing the past trauma linked to Gein's confirmed victims. Monster Season 4's subject will avoid the series' family controversies even more. Lyle and Eric Menendez sitting together in court in Monsters. Interestingly, Monster's shift in its subjects won't potentially stop with Season 3. Monster Season 4 is set to focus on Lizzie Borden, a woman accused of killing her parents with an axe in the late 1800s. The plan for Season 4 was announced before the Ed Gein story was even released, proving that Netflix is still putting a lot of faith in the series. Granted, it seems like those involved with the Monster anthology on Netflix have somewhat acknowledged the past complaints and ongoing criticisms about its depiction of monsters. Even though Season 2 didn't have the same degree of backlash involving victims' families, there was divisiveness regarding whether the Menendez brothers or their parents were the monsters of the story. Monster Season 2 also gave the Menendez brothers renewed media attention while boosting their celebrity status. The increase in attention from the Netflix show also resulted in a new appeal. While the Menendez brothers were resentenced after Monster Season 2 ended, both were eventually denied parole in 2025. With Ed Gein and Lizzie Borden long gone, the next two installments won't be met with similar results. Monster will still be controversial regardless of its timeline. Ed Gein in Monster Season 3. No matter what happens with Monster Season 3 and any future installments, the general subject matter of the crime anthology will still come with a degree of controversy. The popularity surrounding Monster's Dahmer and Menendez brothers' stories stirred questions about the show's accuracy, including depictions of the killers and their victims. Even if the timeline won't come with the same scrutiny in terms of accuracy as Ed Gein's criminal history, it will still showcase the horrors of another convicted monster. That alone opens the show to controversy connected to ongoing criticism of the industry's humanizing of notable serial killers.